All right. Hey guys, it is Bruce
And this is David, and we are on episode 4
of
of Sounds Like NYC, the podcast.
the
Podcast.
This is the
Podcast
Sounds Like
for-
NYC
From New York
podcast.
City, yeah.
Episode 4. Wow, I didn't think we'd make it this far.
We're still in single digits, Bruce. Don't count against us.
All right.
All right, we're here with my buddy Kadeem, who I know personally. Tell me a little about yourself, Kadeem.
Hey everyone, how you doing? My name's Kadeem Phillip. I'm an artist coming out of Brooklyn, New York, self-taught, 28 years old, and I just paint about real life shit.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
That's cool. So, I actually know him just because of our past. I used to work with him at a Whole Foods in Williamsburg. Shout out to what's it called? WBG Whole Foods.
Still there.
Yeah, he's still there, so we can't really say anything bad about Whole Foods. But yeah, we met. I was the customer service on the cashier side. He was maintenance, and we just sort of met. What did we meet?
We met. I think you saw me. Cause I always used to bring my paintings. To
Yeah,
work
yeah.
and drop them off for like art shows.
Mhm.
And I think you saw me showing some work, and you looked at it. You was
Right.
like, "Oh," you was like, "Wow, that's really dope." And I was like,
Yeah.
"We had a conversation from there, and it just grew."
Yeah, because I was always that guy that brought my fucking guitar every single day
Right.
to Whole Foods. Like that was like my bag. Well, that was my bag forever,
Yeah.
right? Bruce can tell you, like since sophomore year, right?
Yeah, since
I would bring that shit every year.
David was just that one fucking guy. He kind of looked like an asshole who at any given moment would play Wonderwall.
Yeah. I was that asshole.
You really were that fun. Yeah.
I real talk. I got into doing music because I thought it would get me girls. It did not.
if you think art's gonna get you girls, you're wrong.
Art
Well,
doesn't get,
it could.
art doesn't
It
get you
could.
anything. It doesn't get you money. It doesn't get you girls.
It could,
It gets you debt.
but does it guarantee it?
I would agree with the debt part.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Girls,
so much
I'm not going to say that. Like, the art thing for me was, I've always been an artist since a kid. Like, I
Mhm.
started probably drawing around
Right.
5 years old. My mom was an artist, my aunt, my uncle. So it was always around me.
Mhm.
My uncle, at that time, he was like 13 years of a difference. So he was like my big brother.
right.
My uncle was drawing like graphic novels, his own graphic novels. He was a big fan of like Frank Miller
Mhm.
and all these things in the comic books like Lobo, Watchmen. So I grew up reading all this stuff.
Mhm.
So him and his boys would be there in the room. We played Nintendo 64, get a
Oh.
whole thing from KFC, and then we'd be drawing for the rest of the day. And that's how I grew up.
For those of you that can't, game of Mario Kart.
And I'm with it. I'm still good.
We came here friends. We're gonna lose that.
We're gonna leave enemies. You're gonna hate each other. But yeah, so like you said, we met because I saw some of his art, and it's just really cool. It's just some really cool art.
I was actually really excited for this today because I was on some site. I forgot what it was, where you were talking about yourself. It was like about you, and you explained that your inspiration was like Salvador Dali, Keith Harington,
Yeah.
and Basquiat.
Yeah, these are like early people that influenced me. So, like, there's like how I've come to be influenced by them is all funny in a way. Like Keith Haring, he used to do art for Sesame Street.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't remember that. So when as a kid we was so broke. My mom used to have like the old VHS tapes and we pop them in that they used to just record.
Yeah.
Shit, same.
And seeing Keith Haring's work was the first time I ever really seen artwork.
Mhm.
It was cool to me.
Right.
Because it used to get so much across with no facial features.
Yeah.
And you can feel everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, that's really cool.
I think, oddly enough, the first time I came across his work was in Woodhull Hospital. Yeah.
And you know, I've seen like
Sorry.
the Crackers Whack wall in Harlem. I've seen all that stuff and it's like it always influenced me. And then for a while I had stopped drawing from about 13 to 20. I stopped doing art.
Mhm.
Because I was at that age when you're a teenager, you're like, I kind of want to blend in.
Yeah, you want girls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
And I kind of stepped away from art, but falling back into the Keith Haring And the Salvador Dali,
Yeah.
Basquiat was really what pulled me back in. Basquiat was like more of middle of my childhood. I found out more about Basquiat. Me being someone from West Indian descent, there's not many artists that are West Indian. He's Haitian.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like when I first found out about him, he drew me in from
Right,
that
like,
point.
yeah.
And just his demeanor was just it's himself.
It is.
It was just fully him. Like he never sold you on anything that was overly the top. I'm who I am.
Right.
It was people who came to him. He was just so
Himself.
It was very different, and people were just fascinated by it.
Exactly. And Salvador Dali was towards now me working within art.
Mm-hmm.
And Salvador Dali was interesting because he always had this idea that you should never really chase perfection.
Right.
The perfection, it will be when you are happy with what you are.
Yeah.
But always have this confidence within yourself.
Yeah. There's like there's actually this metaphor for that. I don't know if you heard about like it's like this class, or like they were making like clay bases, lagos, or clay things.
Clay things.
Right? So there was the instructor was like, okay, I'm switching to two groups. One group, you're going to be graded on like how great you can make this one vase, right? So spend all your time, spend the whole year making this one vase. Then the next group was like, okay, I want you guys to make 100 pounds of vases. Just make a whole bunch of vases. And if it's not 100 pounds, you guys can't get an A.
God damn.
Who do you think got the best grade?
I'm not going to figure the people with 100 pounds. I'm not going to figure they got a good grade.
The people who did it, the group B, right? The ones who did like 100 pounds of vases, right? They got the best grade.
Oh, wow.
They got the best vase, right? Because they did a whole bunch of them. So what's like, listen, so like art, although it's subjective, right? You can get better the more you do it.
Right.
So if you're focusing on just one vase, right? It's not gonna be a good vase.
That's true.
So there's no point in chasing perfection because it'll come to you.
And that became heavy for me because it was like, at that point, I've been through a lot. Like this year, I've been doing art like serious for 4 years. Super serious. And it's like, when I heard the don't chase perfection, it was just like, I'm not going to try to overly perfect everything.
Right.
I'm just going to give it my best effort.
Right.
And do as best as I can and just try to get better every day.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're chasing perfection, and you're gonna constantly be your own worst critic.
Yeah, I'm the farthest thing from a perfectionist, especially with my work.
Yeah.
I get to a point where it's like, I don't know what to add to this, so I'm going to leave it right here.
Yeah, actually, the reason why we waited so long to do this podcast was because we were just trying to get everything right.
Right.
And so we thought about this. Well, I thought about this since like I'd say like summer, right? I brought it up to Bruce around November, and then from November all the way to like the whole month of November, we were just like planning and just planning and planning. And it's like, listen, dude, just buy the fucking shit and just get going. Like, you're gonna suck anyways. You know what I mean?
David's more of the perfectionist. I see a beauty and simplicity in going with it.
I think it's the opposite. I really do think it's the opposite.
You think I'm a perfectionist?
I think you're a perfectionist, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
Let's just say like I'm more like, listen, just do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm more the type like, listen, like I think we got enough like this podcast. Like I was just like, listen, we don't have everything already, but like fuck it.
No, there's so many
fix
things
it
you're
as
trying
like,
to get. You're like, do you need this? Do you need that? When are we gonna get this? How should you get this done? I'm like, listen, who's to say we should even do that?
So like I like being prepared, right? But I also don't like holding myself back. Like I like gauging the value into like doing certain things or whatever. Like I wouldn't post that like, a fucking song without any drums.
See, I'm weird. So it's like one thing I've learned doing this lovely journey is I'm kind of the type of person, I'm like, screw it. We're going to jump head in. I'm going to jump feet first. I might not have everything, but I'm definitely going to jump like feet first.
That's what you got to do.
So, behind some of your work, like what's the thought process that you have going into it, emotionally and maybe objectively?
So some artwork really comes off of the fact that my life is fucked up.
Yeah.
I've been through some fucked up
Yeah.
shit. Go and keep it 100% honest. Like, so there's certain pieces, like when I just did my solo show is called Beauty Behind My Mania. So there's a lot of layers into that. So I'm someone who suffers from depression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm someone who also, at one point, was a manic depression.
Okay.
I have insomnia. So there's a lot of stuff that plays into like, all right, where do I come up with a lot of my stuff? And it's like me uncovering those areas of like, I've been messed up here. Mentally, I deal with this. Here's a painting with me going through a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I paint the beautiful parts of it. You know, for me, women have always been a strong point in my life. My mom raised me single parent, barely a lot of education, but she got me to a point where I graduated school and she supports me crazy. So it's like, this is why I love women. This is why I support women.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I've had other situations that are very deep that I put into this work. So it's usually a lot of my life plays into it, but also stories. I like stories. I think there's so much that people can resonate with a story.
Right.
That's where a new piece, you talked about it before, the bear.
Yeah.
The bear comes from, the bear is a story.
Okay.
But it's like a lot of my work is really me being very realistic with my life, but kind of putting it in a surreal tone.
Yeah, for sure.
The colors usually represent I love colors because there's a representation and there's a meaning behind colors.
Definitely.
So I had a series called The Woman, which you may have seen on my Instagram.
I think so, yeah.
With the flower coming out her mouth. Every color of her skin tone represents the mood of the woman.
Wow.
So there's a purple one, there's an orange one, and there's a blue one.
Yeah.
There's a pink one too, and there's a red one. I just have
she has her own story.
Yeah, so the blue one, she's calm. Like if you look at her eyes, she looks very tranquil. She looks very calm. You look at the purple one, it's kind of a little anxious. The orange one looks like she just don't care.
Right.
Like she woke up, her hair is messy, it's covered in roses. Like fuck this. Today is the day. You know, the red one looks like she's ready to rip your head off. And it's like all of them play into a different story. So I play with colors more to get into the mindset and to tap into emotions.
That's cool. Yeah. That bear's been getting a lot of traction too, right?
Yeah, the bear is... Now, the funny thing is, the bear, I never even designed the bear to be something. It was really an idea.
Yeah. It's really what you least expect sometimes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I really designed the bear. I just did it as a sketch for Inktober. So I like to do little challenges, like whenever I see them. Like in March, I'll probably just do a challenge of learning body postures and sketches. But for like Inktober, it was like you do an ink sketch a day, which is hard. 31 ink sketches is freaking hard to do.
So you did all 30?
I got to like 14.
Okay.
It was hard, man.
Yeah.
We're doing that in a 9 to 5, and then you come home and you just be like...
Yeah. But then, like, the thesis is true, right? Then, like, the more you put out, something's going to come out of it.
And it got me a lot of traction.
Right.
But the bear was, like, the most popular one that month. And the funniest thing was I did it, and it was like, okay, cool. It's a really cool bear. I was like, damn, I'll make this into a painting. And I put that on my Instagram. And then I was getting ready for Miami Art Basel.
Okay.
And I was going out to Miami to do Art Basel. And it was like, I looked at the bear. I was like, maybe this might be time for me to make this into a painting.
Right.
There was so many funny things that happened around the time of that bear where my life started to reflect them. And I was just like, all right, maybe there's something here.
Right, yeah.
So I started painting the bear. And I got hurt at work.
Oh.
So I was moving something, and I was talking to someone, and I turned. And it's going to sound way more gruesome than it was, but one of the hooks that they have that, like, hold ladders jabbed me right here.
Fuck.
But, like, it fucked me up.
And then they say Woodhall, right?
Yeah, like, my eye is swollen. Like, I had, like, a little blood hemorrhage right here.
Yeah.
But, like, I had, like, a damn near ice pack like this over my eyes.
Fucked up.
But
Did you get workers' comp? Did you get workers' comp?
The messed up part was I was off for the next 2 days right after, so I was just like, ain't gonna pay me. And then at the same time, I hurt my shoulder. So if you look at the bear, the left eye is covered by a band-aid, and the left arm is ripped.
Yeah.
So I got home. This pain is staring at me as I walk through the door, and I'm just like, it's like, you bastard. And I'm like, great. So the bear represents the idea that we've all been through stuff.
Right.
The bear represents us as that moment where we by ourselves and we're just like,
right, yeah.
It's been a rough day.
I don't know. Personally, this is something I thought about it is the bear itself, like as an animal, like they're literally going through some stuff like deforestation and loss of habitat.
Right.
Bears are literally going through a struggle.
I fucking hate bears.
You hate bears?
I hate bears. I really do. I think they're fucking behemoths. They're built like a tank. They're like 2 tons or something, like a ton or whatever. I think that's like
brown
a ton,
bears
whatever.
Significantly bigger.
Brown bears are fucking huge, right? Mm-hmm. And then they climb like they run. So there's literally no way you can fuck with a bear.
You can't run, you can't climb, you can't swim away.
If they want you, they take you.
That's why they say just pretend that you're dead. Have you seen the movie Revenant?
No.
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio gets his ass beat by a bear, and
I've seen that. I've seen that clip. Yeah. I've seen that clip.
But then you have brown bears, and they're just like big dogs.
Yeah.
So you make yourself bigger for this isn't well, you guys are learning something too. So you make yourself bigger for black bears, and you play dead for brown bears.
I heard if a brown bear is charging towards you, mind you, these fuckers are huge.
Just pray.
Grizzly bears are fucking huge. No, they're
pray.
Try and be big and loud, and they're like.
Oh, so it's the opposite.
Yeah, they're like.
Okay, then never mind. I don't know anything about wilderness.
That's bullshit. If I ever saw a fucking bear coming my way,
I have friends who be like, "You want to go camp?" I'm like, "Listen, if a fucking bear pops out,
I'm a shotgun."
But the teddy bear is the teddy bear is supposed to have a different meaning to everybody. Mm-hmm. The meaning for me is the teddy bear is me. So it's the teddy bear is really telling my life story.
Right.
But the one thing I found interesting when I did my solo show is I put a lot of imagery of myself and just other things. Mm-hmm. But the teddy bear is what catches people because it's it speaks to them. Yeah. It speaks to everyone.
And definitely because teddy bear is seen something as kind of innocent.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like something childhood. Yeah. Something everybody has. What was I going to say? I think Theodore Roosevelt made a teddy bear.
What?
Theodore Roosevelt? He was the one who invented teddy bears.
Did he?
Something like that. They named it after him.
I think it was something because of something along that line.
Didn't he too get his ass beat by a bear?
Probably. He was a fucking maniac.
I think he was, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, anyways, I genuinely feel like the reason why people are drawn to a certain artist is because they can do it better than anybody else, portray what they're feeling, right? And the better you can portray what you're feeling, the more clear it is, the more that people can really they can feel that and they can just relate. Do you think that's what it is, or what do you think?
I think when people are interested in stuff, there's 2 ways to look at the art market. Yeah. Some people like stuff because it's cool and popular. Some people buy stuff because it resonates with them. Yeah. When you look at something like this, it resonates with people. It hits a chord with them. When you hit a chord with someone, it's different than when you just buy something because it's cool.
Right.
Definitely. I think sentimental value.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why people pay more for the actual thing than just prints.
Exactly. So it's that's why most people you'll see an artist they know people love this and it hits a chord with them and they'll have a high price on that artwork because they know they could get that price to sell and at the same point they could get the prints to sell. For the bear, that is something from people who have definitely told me personally it resonates with them. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people who create work and people tell them it hits them in the heart. Yeah. But I've also seen a lot of people create work of stuff that's just cool and popular and it's mainstream. It will sell.
It's just like music, right? So there's pop artists who are just putting out songs to put out because they're very methodical. I don't know if you know this, but there's a machine, right? Yeah. There's a machine that tells you what the next hit's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
So you just put in your song, you'll be like, dude, you got like 97 out of 100, go.
Mm.
And then there's local artists, right?
Exactly.
Who are like really speaking about like what that city is about,
Mm-hmm.
and that resonates a lot with those people in that particular city, but it's not very digestible for like the overall.
It's like, do you want the fast food or you want something hearty?
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's how I look at it.
Long game, short game.
Some people love the fast food. They love that thing that's quick, that catches on fast. But when you catch that hearty, that stuff that sticks to your ribs, that
lasts so much longer too.
Exactly. You create a longer lifespan.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's the way I look at my art. I don't do stuff because it's cool.
No, yeah, for sure. You do poetry too, right?
Yeah, I do poetry. I'm rusty. The idea though is, so a lot of people don't know this. You don't really know this if you know me, but a lot of artwork has poetry with it. All the art has poetry. Like, it's based around a poem. Usually a poem is inspired off of it, or a poem inspires me and I create the work. So sometimes, I go through a process where I can't really create one way or another. So I might just start one thing, and then it'll lead me the other way, and then it just kind of like weaves its way around.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
It's like when you can't make an art piece, you just like reverse engineer it and you make a poem.
My brain is like, so the way my brain works is I'm usually someone who's usually like doing multiple things, and I like to do multiple things. So it's like, if I can't write, I might start painting or I might start sketching until something comes to my head.
Yeah.
And then when something comes to my head, usually like a word may spark from it. And the word, then we're going to take it there. And now I got a couple lines. Now I got a couple more lines. And then I might paint something. And then it'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do other processes. I'll cook. I'll do whatever just to get the brain to flow.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to. How do you think that New York City has made you like an artist? Like, do you feel like it has anything to do with like your art?
New York City has a lot to do with my art. It has a lot to do with more of my work ethic, probably, than my art. But in my art, it has the brightness, the brightness and the colors. I think the interesting part about New York City that a lot of people don't pay attention to is New York City is a lot of colors. It has a lot of brightness and vibrancy. It never stops. And I think I keep that idea, like, in probably 4 years, I've done nearly 200 paintings.
Wow.
So that's like at least more than a painting a week sometimes. So it's like always keeping that consistent move.
Yeah.
And at the same time, networking, I've done a lot. So it's like keeps me in that pace. Now when it comes down to the artwork, sometimes that you might get a little more of a rougher feel in certain pieces than others. That honest feel, that's all New York City in me. A lot of people tell me my work comes off as Brooklyn. I don't know what that means exactly.
You know what? I feel like maybe I've heard something like that. And it's not something you can pinpoint. It's not something you can define. Really?
Yeah.
It's not something you define or pinpoint, but it's yet something you kind of understand.
Right.
Yeah. Someone said it was funny. I was in Miami. I was in Miami. Someone was like, "Yeah, our work's very Brooklyn." I'm like, "What in the hell does that mean?" But it was like, your artwork just comes off as you're probably someone from like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can kind of say that like the more commercial pieces are like really Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right. Or like, I guess there's sort of a thing, but I mean, what does it say? Like, my art looks like Queens.
Yeah, I would guess it's like, I guess my work doesn't feel as super polished. Or like,
it's really gritty.
Pristine.
Yeah.
It's like more like, it's clean, it's colorful, but it's like more of, you can just feel like that Brooklyn kind of like.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that kind of reflects the city. You're right. The city does have color, but it's color in a gritty area.
Like
I was thinking more like, the city's like really cold, right? But it's so quick.
Yeah.
Like there's so much color to that. You know what I mean? It's more like the speed of the thing.
It's like not super neon.
Yeah.
But it's vibrant.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's colorful,
rich.
but it has a little,
rich
it has a
colors.
little dirt on it.
Yeah.
A little dust to it. It's more of a dusty color.
Yeah.
More than anything. And I think that probably comes off of me a lot. Like, I use a lot of bright colors. I don't do a lot of dark work. I do some work that's usually kind of like dark. But when it's like, I usually use more bright colors, and that tells some things that might be dark more than anything. And I think that's the New York feel to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And how do you think New York has inspired your work ethic?
I don't stop. Like, I keep going. Usually, like, this is the longest layoff for me.
Yeah.
Not doing shows and work, and this is like 2-3 weeks.
Wow.
That's the longest layoff I had. Like, probably last 2 years, I've done 100 shows.
Damn.
Wow.
Like, you see me at work. I come in 1 week, I have one canvas. Another week, I had another canvas. And it was like completely different. I'm dropping
it's
off
like
work.
You're constantly running. You just gotta keep putting yourself out.
I was legit, because I'm part of an art collective from Harlem.
Right.
So it's like, I work in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. I go to work, then hop on the train, go to Harlem, drop off my paintings, come back home, work on another painting, wake up the next morning early, after I've been up painting till 2 in the morning, wake up for work at 7 in the morning,
right,
and then go right back and do the process again.
Same grind.
Yeah, it's an endless grind. And, you know, now for me, I'm selling prints, I'm doing merchandise. So now it's...
And how's that doing?
Plug.
Yes, prints, yes.
Yeah,
you can
of
get
course.
that off my Instagram. And there will be merchandise coming out later this month. I'm not going to
really good.
anything.
I'll buy some. I'll buy 10.
Oh, trust me. This I'm doing affordable bear canvases. Those will be available tomorrow. Well, Monday, the 12th. Tomorrow's 12th. Yeah, it'll be available Monday the 12th of February, and then I'm going to do possibly another one in the spring. I'm going to do shirts of the bear and stuff like that.
That's
so
cool.
all this is coming. But yeah, it's the prints and merchandise is not bad. The bear prints sold out quicker. I didn't expect them to really sell out. Like, I was just like, I like exclusive stuff.
Right.
I don't like everybody being able to get stuff. I like 20 people have it.
I too like that.
Yeah.
It sucks when you're on the receiving end of not being able to get it.
Yeah.
But it makes it so much more.
And then it's like when it comes out again, you're like, oh my God, I need to get it.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, so that's how it worked. I went to school for business.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't go to
shit.
school for art. I did the opposite.
You're
I
a
was like,
tactician. You know what's
yeah. It was like, for me, it was like, I always wanted to be my own boss.
That's
but at the
what-
same point, it's like, I can't go to art school. You can't tell me my style sucks.
I mean,
I'm
like-
gonna tell you suck my dick.
Like, I guess, like, if you're a graphic designer, I guess that's a good way to go. But like, I personally wouldn't go to school for art just because I know that, like, I can teach art myself. Like,
Right.
art is in me. Like, I don't need a person with a PhD in art history to tell me what art is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like, my thing has really been over the last few years. Like, I have friends or myself, some friends, they bought me books. Or I go to Barnes and Noble, I'll go buy some books on techniques and everything. I'll buy them. I'll come home and practice them. To me, that's better than me spending a couple $1,000, just buying a couple $100 for textbooks,
And
then having somebody grade me and tell me if I'm good or getting good or bad at it.
I heard our teachers are like really brutal.
And that's another thing. I'm not going to bite my tongue for no grade. I'm going to tell you legit, you can kiss my ass.
Yeah, they'll straight up tell you like you ain't shit and you won't.
I've had
be
people
shit.
tell me, they like,
yeah, that's like, yeah, it's
I
fucking
like
tough.
back like, what was it, 2015? I was really getting started, and I went to Scope, International Art Fair out here in New York when I was here, and I got a couple curators' cards. So I sent one curator my work, and they didn't like my work. They thought my work was super amateur at that time, and it was like,
It's too Brooklyn.
but at the same point, I wasn't where I am now.
Right.
So it's like if I send them the same stuff and they tell me the same thing, now I'm just taking kiss my ass.
Right.
Bullshit. But, it's two different fields. The merchandise and everything is understanding business. The business side of the art world, where you kind of got to take the creative person out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm doing my numbers.
for sure.
These are the
Yeah.
numbers here I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a struggle a lot of artists don't have. Like, that's why they can't really make it as artists.
Yeah.
Just because they're thinking just just art. Like if you want to get into, make a business out of art, you have to know business too.
Yeah.
And if you don't, hire somebody that does, like,
it's interesting because it's like I see a lot of people I know who are artists who try to sell their work. So it's difficult on multiple ends. It's difficult on the price point. It's difficult on understanding your target market. It's difficult on making sure you know how to market yourself. And then it's difficult on understanding how to consistently maintain it. So for me, like, I don't even mind saying it. I have a business account, like on Instagram. Like I turned my Instagram into a business account.
That's what you got to do.
Which most people don't.
By the way, every artist should have a business account.
All right. So it's like, even you just go to your settings. You can literally go to your settings on Instagram and just click
just make a page on Facebook,
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it is, what I like to do when I'm doing a really good week, like a very busy week, like say the week I did in October, I'd click to see what age range, where they're located, the sex, male or female. And then from there,
market to them.
Also see what time they're mostly on my Instagram. So then it's like, okay, I have a specific time I like to drop my work because that's the time where most people are going to be looking at it. Or maybe I'll drop it the hour after. So, because the one thing that bugs me about Instagram is not chronological order. It's just
it's algorithm. Yeah,
the algorithm's all over the place. So it's like whatever.
So you pay for ads.
Exactly. So when I did my solo show, I paid for ads. I had physical flyers. At the same point, I was doing run around shows. Like my show was in August. I did like 6-7 shows up until then. So I was out connecting, networking. I had like nearly 100 people. I had 100 people at my art show. So, it's all understanding yourself and marketing yourself. And sometimes using hashtags. Find out what hashtags are like popular in the art community around you. And abuse it.
Yeah, of course, You get up to 30 hashtags on Twitter. I mean, on Instagram, so you might as well use them.
Why not? And it's like,
use all 30.
That's what we do.
He was telling me how you have to get on that hashtag game.
Yeah, so it's like it's sort of like balancing like what's really hot, what's not so hot, and like maybe like starting one yourself, just like people can like easily.
And then sometimes it's also sitting back and just looking at. Like I follow a lot of artists in New York, so it's like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? And then it's like, okay, I see you doing that. I'm not.
That's fucking smart.
Let me do the opposite. You doing that, and that's working for you. But you're not addressing this. Okay, I see these artists doing this, and I'm working on this.
Yeah, and then also balancing, like, listen, like, nobody's doing this, so let me experiment and see what happens.
And then the reason why I like exclusive stuff is just the fact of
sells quicker.
It sells quicker, and at the same point, when I always look at it from this mindset. When you see something you think is cool, but you can't get it, you want to be like, where you got it from?
Yeah.
And then it's like, damn, it's sold out right now. But then when the person be like, oh, another 24-hour release, it's like, oh, it's a scatter.
Not only that, but like then you're more aware of the actual artist.
Exactly.
So then you're just like paying attention to the next one that comes in. Yeah, it's smart.
And that's how
they're trying to keep tabs
to me, that's how you get another follower.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's like, to me, followers are not just like some form of money, but it's like followers are a way where it's like
brand equity.
It's brand equity. It shows people that this many people actually care about what the hell.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Some tips for any aspiring artist of any kind.
Yeah,
not just it's just
you do music is the same thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like
music is just understanding.
You should be putting out a song a day.
Yeah, putting out a song a day. You put out like a little 1-minute clip and you break it down into like those like the
I see some
slide.
Yeah.
You could do anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Social networks is free marketing.
Oh yeah.
I remember hearing I love watching interviews with like certain people. So like I'll sit down and watch an interview with Kevin Hart, and you get a lot of Kevin Hart stuff. Like when you listen to a lot of his stuff about how he uses social networks to advertise himself, to the point where when he does a movie with a company, he's telling them, you have to pay me to advertise on my social network.
Right.
That's where my free promotion comes from.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So it's like, understand the wealth in your social network. Like, I started to put my personality out there more to sell the person that I am because there's a person behind the work.
And then invest on ads. I mean, ads are so fucking cheap right now.
Exactly.
You should invest on ads.
Actually, on my personal, I follow our Instagram,
Mhm.
but right before I followed it, I got an ad for our Instagram, and I was like,
because you are our target audience.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
and that's the
followed.
thing. Like, and mind you could do that for like 6 days. It's like $6 or something like that. It's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
And it's like,
And it does rack in the attention.
I mean, we're just doing like right now. We're doing like $3 a day.
Yeah.
We're getting like pretty good.
It's nothing, and mind you, it depends on how long you want to do it.
Oh yeah.
And, I'm someone who does the online stuff, but when I'm ready to do physical stuff, I do physical stuff too. Like I'll be outside painting, when it's nice, I'll be outside painting. I got like a bunch of stuff with me. Hey, you want to buy a print? Hey, you want to buy some pen?
Have you ever thought of like doing it where like you get to a point and you're like, hey guys, I'm gonna be here doing this and get an audience.
I used to
Audience.
I used to do this, but then and don't want to get too crazy into it because someone kind of took my idea that I knew, so I was just like, screw it, I'm going to change it. But I would before would used to have like create my own flyer, and I'd be like dean towards the city, and I'd be like, oh, I'm here to this day, live painting this way, and people actually would come out and see me live paint. And it was cool. Then someone I know, I ain't gonna say the names, they ended up just making that their whole life of them just in the subway doing that every single day. And I was just
I think I know who you might be talking about.
yeah, we ain't gonna say no names though.
Is it he has a cart?
Yeah, more than likely.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We know who you're
I think
talking about.
we tried reaching out to him too.
Somewhere around 14th Street usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he is. Super cool dude though. Super cool dude.
I'm not gonna
Love his art.
Hey, do your thing. Nah, not kidding. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm not doing that no more. I'll do that sparingly when I feel like
Have you
it.
ever thought of maybe just doing it?
What about a collab? What about a collab?
Like what if you did
Depends
it?
on which person, because there's two artists. There's
Right.
two I know. One of them that still do it, and then another one does it somewhere else. The other one, me and that person don't really get along. Me and this other person, we cool. So it's kind of like,
I thought it'd be cool, like what if you did a painting in public again, but like somehow someone
Or you know what?
Usually when you see me at like a lot of these events that I do a lot of fantasy and color, which is the art collective I'm part of. I usually paint live.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot right now, right? But I do want to put it out that my goal with these artists, right, is to sort of like, maybe this summer. I'm shooting myself in the foot right now, but this summer, right, I want to make a sort of concert, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the concert consisting of like all types of artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I want like, a musician collaborating with somebody who paints. So like there's like sort of like a story to tell with that.
Right.
Photographer, just like anything, you know what I mean? I want to sort of like mesh together the scene in New York City because I feel like it's so important, so vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
And although a lot of people see it, it's just like, yeah, that's another artist.
Another thing like we talk about is there should be no problem in coming together and growing together. It doesn't always have to be a competition.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about the art world is everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be. It's weird.
Yeah, but listen. If you're confident in your work, right? You know you're gonna be number one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's no sort of like competition. You know what I mean? That's why I need to collaborate.
You have a lot of people who aren't confident in the work plays that they are.
Yeah.
There are.
You should be confident.
I'm confident.
There you go.
Me, I have no problem doing my work with anybody. I can collab with anyone at any given time. I'm always up for it. I can't speak for everybody else.
Right, yeah.
That's the issue. Like, I'm always down. Like, my thing is, I'm always willing to do something if everybody else can get a little piece of the pie.
Yeah.
That's how I work. It's like everybody should be able to get a little piece of the pie. I'm like, I like to sell exclusive stuff where it's only to a certain number, but everybody should be able to come, hey, you want to do this painting? Hey, you want to do this? Let's go. Come on. You want to work on a shirt together? Let's do this.
Yeah. Because you make the pie bigger.
But sometimes people like stuff to be one slice.
I mean,
I'm a person.
Those people aren't going to last, right?
They don't last.
It's that they're in for the short game, not the long game.
That's the people that are really in it to just like. Those people just want their name in lights. Me personally, there's not much I really want more from art. Like, I would love it if I could make a life where I can quit my job and just live off art. But that's all I want. But I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to have all this stuff. I don't look for that. That's not my.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, like, if you're like in a fucking like a corporate job making $250 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be less happy than if you made like $75 a year just doing what you love. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's perspective. It's like knowing who you are.
For me, it's like if I can make a living where I have my own place, my own car, and I'm fine.
Oh yeah,
I'm fine.
Like,
I don't need.
Especially doing what you want to fucking do.
Exactly.
That'd be
where I
fucking
don't
dope,
have to go and I don't have to listen to a boss and deal with customers and deal with stuff I don't want to have to.
Yeah.
That's my end goal.
Yeah.
Some people's end goal is they want to be up there with the next, with Andy Warhol and Salvador Dali. They want to be like, I was the greatest. Like, if I get there, cool.
Yeah.
But my real end goal is my happiness.
I'm getting single.
You know something important that some people not even may realize themselves is they want to be like that, self-efficient, and be their own boss. But maybe they are just not that person. Like, sometimes I think about it. I sometimes want to be my own boss, but then I realize how strict you have to be with yourself sometimes.
Right.
Where you really have to be your own boss.
Yeah. I mean, like me right now, right?
It's easy
I like me right now. Like I work in real estate, right? So like I am my own boss. I have a broker,
right?
But he doesn't tell me when I have to come in, right? There's no set hours. I just go in and I leave when I want to. That being said, I come in at 7:30 and I leave like at 5 every single day, right? Maybe like one day off, but like it's just like, yeah, it sounds good on paper, but not if you're just working. Not if you don't want to do that much work.
Exactly.
Don't be your own boss if you don't want to do that much work. You know what I mean? So like
you have to set the precedent with yourself, and that's something I do. Like I go to work 8 hours a day, but I make sure to also get me 2 hours in the gym. Make sure my meals are set for the next day, and then I'm gonna get my artwork in.
Yeah.
You have to be very disciplined.
Oh yeah.
And I could be on either side. I could be super lazy, or I could be super disciplined. But it depends on how I push myself.
You know why I think you're gonna win?
Why?
Because like you're not, like I said, you're not just an artist, you are a businessman. So like I feel like that sort of like mentality at art, that's the way you need to go.
Yeah.
And like you said, you might not be like a millionaire, right? But you're gonna be fucking set making 80 grand a year, just like doing what you want to do. You know what I mean? It's fucking dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's me. Personally, it's like I don't need like anything super lavish. That's it. And it's like my idea is like I already create my business plan. Every year I create a business plan for myself on where I want to be. Like I sit down and I come up with an idea and it's like, all right, let's see how this goes. And then as things start to fall in place, it's doing the calculations, doing the numbers, and doing the breakdowns of what we can make happen, what I can make happen, and that's the goal.
And like it's not it's not bad if you don't know how to do it. Just hire somebody who does.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
Learn too. Like I always believe, and I learned this from Maya Angelou. We don't stop learning stuff until the day we die. So if you don't know something about business, be open to learning. Like there's YouTube, there's everything. There is endless amounts of life.
You're right. You can pick up anything from.
Listen, like the moment you think you've stopped learning, like the moment you think you know it all, that's when you fail.
Yeah.
That's when you
set yourself up. I had a discussion with a friend where I'm just like, I don't believe I'm a master of my craft. I don't believe I'm nowhere near it. I don't even believe I begin to even scratch that surface because it's the fact of this.
Like, bro, like how old are you?
I'm 27. I'll be
27. You got like what, like 30 years? Not 30 years. You got like 60 years left? 70 years left?
About it, you only really lived a quarter of your life. Pretty much, slightly over a quarter.
I don't even think I really lived out everything yet.
I mean, people are living up to 150.
Yeah. So, like, you really think about it.
You could be living up to 150.
You're brand new, man. You're still
Dude, you're a fucking baby.
We're
fucking babies.
Yeah.
The way my
insomnia
is set up, well, I don't know if the 150 is possible. The way my insomnia is set up. The way my insomnia.
I'm giving myself too much credit. I think
just go hibernate. Just hibernate.
Yeah, listen. That damn. There's like the issue with like some of the stuff for me is like I put out a lot that goes on in my life.
Yeah.
And one thing one of my friends told me, he's like an older artist. He's like, his work is incredible, but he's been doing this for a while. Me and him talking, he's like, artists are tortured souls.
Yep.
That's why they could create so much.
Oh, yeah.
Because we go through so much. And it's like,
Pain is a catalyst.
Yeah, it's like with all the stuff I go through, insomnia, I'm like 150. I don't know about that. We look 75 sounds a lot more realistic.
But still, though.
But for me, it's like I don't plan to ever stop making art. You know, I think when you plan to stop making something, you give yourself a time limit.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
in someone's like later lives, that's usually when sometimes that's when their best work comes out because they have a whole lifetime of experience.
Like I said, it goes back. It goes back to that like 100 pounds of aces.
Yeah.
Right? The more you put out, the better you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kadeem. It was really fun, bro.
Great meeting you.
Anytime, man.
We'll definitely have you on again.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.